Hey everybody, welcome into the Beehive. In today's Ancient Metals show, we have Aaron Berk with us. So I'm excited to bring him up here and we'll talk some ancient coins. Aaron, good to see you.
What's going on, brother?
How goes it?
Another fine day in the city of Chicago.
Nice, nice. Neil's Han Dynasty, Tiger Stacker, welcome in. So I think I wanna look at some coins with you.
Sure.
And I also wanna go over your site as well, but I kind of caught you in between layouts here today, I think. So you just kind of wrapped up on your 227th buyer bid sale. Is that right?
I did, but the after sale is still going on. And in fact, on Friday, so tomorrow, I'll probably send out an email that we're going to do 10% off the reserve price.
Okay. Wow.
So, and that sale will run through until Monday, probably.
Okay. And so, like right now, you have a reduced price up.
Right. Which is the next acceptable. So basically, we say you can buy them at the reserves. And then come tomorrow, we're going to do 10% off that reserve price.
Okay, well, I'll just bring you since it's still up. I was thinking it was closed, so I'm going to share that site right quick, and we'll look at it here real quick. Okay, here we go.
So if you go to like the first lot, you'll see it says it has a reserve price there.
Hold on here. Let me. So what I do when I. Hold on. I just apologize. All right, here we go. Get over here. Okay, so yeah, I go to all departments, priced highest to lowest. This is how I run it. You can come in, run it however you want to. Get 90 on a page. And that starts me off at the most expensive, which looks like you've done well there. Sold.
Well, yeah, so if you hit like you see there that one lot number 221, the reserve is 12.5, and so you can actually buy it for 12.5 right now.
Okay.
And then tomorrow, even though it says lot closed, you can still hit the buy it now for 12.5.
Okay.
And then tomorrow we'll take 10% off of that price. So we'll take it down by $2,500.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, yeah, a lot of the ones that I was looking at in here.
You can filter it also if you go back to the filter button and then scroll down to the bottom. You can do all available inventory.
Available inventory, all right.
And that'll eliminate all the solds.
There we go. Yeah, and in this other sale, I want to ask you. So you have this Agena stator here.
Yeah.
And it's an early example. The earlier examples, right, just have the one line of dots down the back.
It's a sea turtle, and then later they went to the land turtle after they lost their sea power.
Okay, and does it matter, like on the CNG site that we're going to be looking at? I noticed they had some of the land. Now they were really nice examples, so that's probably why. But the land examples were more expensive than the sea dwelling turtle examples, and I was thinking that it was the other way around. So
it typically is the other way around, unless you get something with a lot of the shell still remaining perfectly centered. And part of the reason why those have gone up so much is because of the slabbing market, because those tend to come in real high grade. And if you can get one of those into a 5555 holder with a star, you can get ridiculous amounts of money for it. And so I think that's driven a lot of it. A lot of the early sea turtles don't have as nice surfaces as the land turtles do, the later ones.
Yeah.
So those tend to not slab up as well. And so if you've learned anything from slabbing, you realize that what slabs up are the really high-end silver and gold pieces that are in quantity. and that you can regularly find in the raw market and put into holders and have a good chance of getting a high designation, which is good and bad, because if you're somebody like Heritage that mainly just sells slabbed ancients, then you're going to end up only want to having high designated coins in your special auctions. And so that's going to then limit you to just having, um, uh, more common but high grade silver and gold coins, and no bronze coins, because most bronze coins tend to be smoothed from cleaning. And so they will designate that on the holder and it'll get a lower designation. And so typically you don't get a lot of bronze coins that get high 5555 for surface and strike. And so for that reason, they don't fit into the model of high-end slabbed ancients.
I see. So actually you guys are gonna, so you almost don't have any downtime between your auctions then.
We try not to. Sometimes we may only be starting production now, but because we bought a major collection and took on another collection on consignment early on, we were able to start production pretty early on the 228th sale. So it's pretty much ready to go, except for some extra edits and some more writing, and that'll get launched on Tuesday of next week, if all goes well. So typically what I do is I'll close a sale and I might run an after sale for 2.5 to 3 weeks. But in this case, we're only going to be running the after sale for a week.
Okay, so it does vary a little bit, because I seem to get lost sometimes in them, and
it just depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
And where we are with production. And in this case, we were lucky enough to have the coins ahead of time and get started a lot earlier. And so that helped out just from a calendar standpoint. Didn't help with sanity, but it helped with everything else. So
well, welcome in West Texas Stacker, Dutch Libertarian, and Homestead Aquarius. Thanks for being here. Okay, so I want to jump over here to the CNG site and look at a few things with you. So these first 4 lots here,
the Celtic coins,
considered Celtic coins, and these first 2 examples are kind of imitations, as they say, of Philip II. So it'd be Alexander the Great's father, right?
Correct.
And I guess what I'm getting really intrigued with the Celtic stuff. I just so it's not that they have bad art. Like, some of their art is really impressive, but it always is in this kind of unique form. I mean, there's better and worse styles. These seem to be some pretty nice stylistic pieces here. But I guess one of my questions about it was, did they have their own issues of coins, or were they all just kind of imitations of other things around? Or
they were all imitations because they were wanted to trade with the Macedonians, and they wanted to trade with the Romans. And so or some of the provincial types of Roman types. But in the Greek period, it's mainly they were trading with them, and so they wanted them to see their silver or gold and notice them as treasury coins, and so they copied them out of respect.
Out of respect, yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I mean, some of it looks respectful, and some of it looks almost like they're poking fun at them. So I didn't know.
No, I think they just had their own style, and honestly, if you look at like Picasso and other artists, they copied a lot of the Celtic and Iberian art from Spain, and so that's where they were influenced. A lot of modern artists were influenced by the Celtic art.
Interesting. Okay, and this one right here, this lot 5, it seems to have a head of a human almost to the horse there. And
yeah.
But it's this is actually referencing like a quadriga type.
Yeah.
Type thing. Okay.
Correct. So and then see lot number 9.
Yeah.
Lot number 9 is a very rare coin, and that is actually the Parisy, and the Parisy that was in Paris, France, and that's where the name Paris came from. Was from the tribe that lived there.
Oh wow! Okay.
So this is from the tribe that lived there in the 2nd century BC. which later became Paris.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I bought one of these last year that actually had the name of the tribe Parsi inscribed on it, which was unique.
Oh wow.
We paid about $250,000 for it.
Wow.
For a client.
Wow. So these imitation coins are actually quite sought after then.
Well, the Parsi especially because of the Paris connection.
Okay.
And they're rare, relatively rare, scarce. And they issued them for several hundred years. So it depends on what style, period, things like that. So
okay.
Like I was bidding on one. In fact, I'll be bidding on that Parsi for a client because we bid on one that was in a Belgium auction. I think it was Belgium ago. Didn't get it, and then this one in CNG came up, and so I always tell clients, I'm like, if you lose out on a coin, don't worry because there's going to probably be another one coming up.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. That's got to be very hard in practice as a client to swallow. But yeah, I hear you say
Sometimes.
So then you have this lot 1011, and they have a flat back basically on it, just planchet form, no indentation or strike to it,
that was their style for that city.
Okay, so a lot of that Etruria?
Yeah, it's in Italy.
Okay. Those are commonly done with just a flat back. I haven't seen a lot of just flat backs out there.
No, it's not usual.
Okay. And then we got in this lot 13, Tarentum. I know these have been really common lately, but I was wondering this one that has kind of the shrimp tail / horse going on here. Is that more of an early version?
Yeah, this is an earlier version. And that's called a hippocamp.
A hippocamp. Okay, there you go. Nice.
So basically a type of seahorse.
Okay.
But yeah, that's an earlier die. If you look at the datings, you can see it's 465 to 455, and then the other issues are in the threes.
Yep, like these right here. And then most of those have a horse on one side, and
so you get an archaic style, and then it goes all the way down from there, and you get all kinds of really interesting. Like that's a cool type because it actually has the guy working on the hoof of the horse.
That is very cool. I just now realized after you said that what he was doing. He's doing a little shoe job on the horse there. Oh, that is cool.
And Tarentum was they were very big in raising and training horses. So that was part of their economy. So that's why they typically use horses. And the figure on the back, that's Tarsus. He was named after the city. He founded the city. Supposedly he was drowning and a dolphin saved him and brought him to shore so he didn't drown.
Nice. And he's got the trident there with him. I see he has a lot of different weapons at different times, but he's got a shield and
a representation for Neptune. Everything had symbolism behind it to the gods.
So even though this is a different god himself, he still has the Neptune, somewhat of that theme.
Well, it's a representation of oceanic scene. So yeah.
Gotcha. And then that's
even on ships, sometimes you'll see a trident, or you'll see like on a coin, or you'll see an eye. That's actually, a lot of people miss it. There's an eye sometimes in the ship itself, and it represents like the all-seeing eye, future, past, all that kind of stuff. And you actually find the eyes on what's called Attic kylexes that actually have eyes on them, and from the 5th century BC. And so you see that same eye, and we call them eye cups. And you see the same eyes on coins.
You call them eye cuffs?
Eye cup. Eye
cups. Okay. Yeah. Okay, very, very interesting here. And then what did I jump to? 1517. Oh yeah, this one just has a little. I like this one because it had a bee symbol in the on the back here. What do you call these symbols? These little I to me they're privies from the modern thing, but what would you call those in the
Monograms,
monogram?
and they have to do with the minting process, and it has to do with dating and things like that. And it was basically just symbolism for different mints that were putting out different dyes.
Okay. Okay, so it has a lot to do with the mint or the town or something.
No, just the mint itself, because we all know what town it came out of, but it has to do with just it's a what it's called a mint control mark, and so it's like the mint at the time was probably issuing a certain amount of silver, and they needed to for that dye know how much silver, and so that was a control mark to know how much silver they were using for that issue.
Oh wow, okay, that's cool.
So it's called a control mark. And so different control marks then are on the coin based on probably so they could allocate and know what series that came out of from the silver. Because remember, these were all treasury coins. And so you needed to have a certain amount of knowing where the silver was and what mint produced it and things like that. So that was a control mark for that specific mint itself.
A treasury. So does that mean that they accounted for all of their coin, like they kept track of their coins that they put out?
Sure. Well, they were issuing, everything is based on weight. So most of the coins will come in a specific weight standard for each type. So if we know if something is way underweight or way overweight, there's a good chance it might be fake, because they were very precise on how they made the planchets, and it was done by weight. And so these were treasury coins. There's a way of transferring wealth around was only done in gold and silver during this time period. And so these weren't always generally spent by people or everyday people. They use bronze coins. But let's say you were traveling from one city to another, you might take one silver coin, go into that city, and trade it in for a bunch of bronze coins that were used for that city. And then and so silver ended up being a kind of universal wealth transfer.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
then you would get bronze coins that you could then spend throughout the city.
Wow, that is interesting. Okay, and there was, so that was kind of a common. You would probably almost like a bank today. You would go find the bronze exchanger of the town you went to deal and barter with, and
Yeah, you'd find a money exchanger,
money
a
exchanger.
moneyer is what they call it. And or if you're paying mercenaries or soldiers, you would pay them in silver, because that mercenary wasn't necessarily from that land, and so then they would return home and turn that money into, buy whatever they needed to buy. So
Okay, very cool. Now this example here is a Lucania Heraclea. So we got what, Hercules on the back here fighting the lion, right?
yeah, that's the fighting the Nemean lion from the first labor.
Okay.
And then Hercules wore the lion skin for the rest of the labors.
Okay, so this represents kind of the first labor then, almost.
That's the first labor.
That's the first labor. Okay, well, I don't even know what all that is, but that is great information, I'm sure. So in these have the, what do you call it? I heard you call it an esquila or
It's a scilla. It's a creature with a serpent tail.
And I noticed, yeah, it has a tail, and on some of them it has a head that you can see on the tail, almost like a dog head or something on one of the. I noticed.
Yeah, it's they were like the skill was a sea monster, and it sometimes had dog representation in some of the tentacles and things like that.
Yeah, right here at the kind of the forefront where I'm circling.
The dogs are kind of like it's supposed to be represents like howling. So like if you're at the sea and the water's hitting the rocks, that's supposed to be like the howling of the dogs.
Okay.
So because a lot of ships would crash against the islands and break apart, they saw that as like the god, taking out their ships.
Okay, and so in this next one, the squilla or whatever it is kind of wore off or something happened there. But here he's already skinned his lion, so this would be a later
issue.
Later issue.
Yeah, that's just a weak die strike, because you got to remember that's the high point of the coin. So as
Right.
they were striking the coins, the die becomes more worn over time until it finally just breaks apart. And so that's just was not a strong strike at the time
to fit all the way into those that last. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. That makes
so
sense.
it's still a high grade coin, but the strike itself wasn't strong enough because the die was weak in that area at that
Right
point.
in here, right through the. Yep, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So, you know, just because a coin might be worn in a certain area doesn't mean that it's a lower grade coin.
Wore out, right? A wore down coin.
It's just more worn die.
And this one I thought was cool because it's a forward facing, and it's got that same. Here you can see the head on the tail a little bit.
Yep.
And over here she's like kind of pointing out. Looks to be.
Yeah, we call that a 3/4 facing.
A 3/4 facing. Okay.
Yeah. That's typically what the ancients did. There's not too many full facing. There are full facing, but like you'll see Rhodes coins, City of Rhodes, which has Helios. They do a lot of 3/4 facing. Some of Syracuse does that as well. But yeah, they don't do a lot of full frontal, but occasionally you do see them.
Okay, yeah, and I just thought that was cool to show people how much, you know, you can get a lot of different variations of that same sea monster on the helmet there, and what quite a headdress this 3/4 facing is.
Yep.
Got there. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see, down to 28 was what.
Yeah, and you can see like the Metapontum. If you go to lot 26, that's a cicada.
Oh yeah.
So, cicada or grasshopper.
I didn't notice that when I was looking earlier.
So that's a smaller denomination. The ones with the stator, you know, tend to go for really strong money, but it's a popular type for that reason.
Yeah. Okay, that is cool. I didn't notice that.
So if you're into collecting bugs on coins, that's kind of a cool thing.
For sure. Yeah, I like this one, which is a different issue of the. Well, I guess it's quite the same coin.
Yeah, that's beautiful 3/4 facing Metapontum. You have the bull cranium bull symbol coming off there, which is really quite nice. It's a really beautiful coin.
Yeah, I thought overall this one was pretty good. So a little bit off in the face maybe for me, but altogether I really like that.
Yeah, the eyes are, you know, it's a little ghostly in the eyes, you know, it doesn't have a lot of character, but generally speaking, the die was very well cut.
I agree. Yeah, that is a very nice piece there. What do you? So that's already got a high starting point. What would you?
Well, that's the estimate. I think they're starting it at 4,700, something like that.
Oh, okay. What do you think on estimate wise on that?
I'll come and see.
I virtually matched up everything with the invoice. I'll put it on Phil's desk.
So I would say that coin is gonna. Can you go back to it?
Yep.
What is there a pedigree for it? Let's see, Wild Rose, 2018. Well, what I do is, so I'll look up and see what it brought. So let's just do a quick search here. Just give me a second. I'll look it up for you.
Cool. And what are you going to do that? What, Coin Archive or?
I'm using Coin Archives. Yep.
Coin Archive. Cool.
So I'm going to go to CNG. I'm going to go scroll down a little bit again so I can see the listing. Yep. Okay, so that's going to be XXI. XXI. Okay. Right, and so that was in 2018. And that's about 317. So in January of 2018, it brought $18,000 with the 20%. That is
wow. That's more than I thought it was going to be.
21,600 if it was at 20%. If it could have been 22.5, but I think it might have been just 20 at that point. Wow. So you're looking at 21.6 for something like that. If I look at other examples, let's see. There's one that let's see here. There's one that sold in 2019. Same version, actually same coin. 20 brought 17,000. Here's another one in 2021. Not as nice. It brought 5,000. Another one. Let's see. So my guess is it's going to bring between 15 and 18,000, somewhere in that range. It may go for less. Here, let's just take another look here really quick here.
So you're not, I would have said if it would have went for 18 back then, it'd be over 20 by now for sure.
I think
but you're
he
not.
overpaid for a little bit.
I see. Okay.
They had it estimated in 2018 for 30,000. So they had a high estimate on it.
That is high.
So I know the collector, he passed away, so there's nobody here, nobody to complain. So, he's a gentleman who just passed away recently. The guy who's they're selling this collection, the Wild Rose collection, and so typically if somebody passes away and there's descendants, they don't generally, they care, but they don't care because they're not as invested personally in this material. And so what will happen is that the auction house will say, well, he paid 18,000 plus juice for this, but we're going to start it out low and it's going to go really high. And the family usually just says, okay, fine. And there's nobody to complain. If the collector was around, he might have said, well, I want it estimated at least $12,500. But because he's not there to complain, they can put a low estimate on it. And so they're putting in a low estimate. Everybody's going to see what it sold for in 2018 and think, okay, well, I know I need to be at least at double estimate to have a chance at it. So you want to be in the 14 to 18,000 range, somewhere in that, to even be competitive. Doesn't mean you won't get it cheaper. You could. It's completely possible. But when evaluating these things, you need to come up with a strategy. And so let me just look at one other thing here. HA 1584. Let me just search the reference number and see what we got here. So, so here's another optic for that. The highest price ever paid for one of these was in 2014 and went for 19,000. So you're already at the height of what these things are worth. So you don't want to pay over. You don't want to be the new record holder.
And is that a nicer example that do you have a picture of it?
I do. It's comparable.
Do you want? Can you? I wonder if you can share your screen through
the. Yeah, I can. Let's see here.
I'm gonna stop sharing mine. So
share screen. Share screen. Yeah, let's Coin Archives share. Okay. So you see my screen?
No. Oh, yep. Here we go. There we go. Yep, it's up there.
Okay. So yeah, here's the one that brought 19,000 in 2014. So it's pretty comparable.
It is pretty close. Maybe a bit nicer though, huh?
Yeah, but not a ton.
Not a ton.
It also only had a pedigree back to 2001, so it's not a pre-70 pedigree. Here's the one that's selling. Okay. It does have a little scratch here, but nothing major. Again, very nice quality. Here's one brought 17,000, also quite nice. So
it's up there in some of the top.
Then look where it drops to. It drops to 6750 and 20. This one brought, not as nice in 2021, pretty worn, but it brought 5,000. This one in 2022 brought 5,000. So, in general, let's see, 2021, that's not very nice in comparison. So yeah, so my best is, if it was me, I would try to get it for around 15 or 16,000.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting.
But I wouldn't go over 18.
Okay.
So
all right, awesome. Boy, that pulls up a lot of examples there. I didn't realize it would pull up that many.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I had that question in here, but you basically went through it because I think it was last night's show that you guys did on the Ancient Coin podcast. You talked about you got a hit on a coin that you bought that didn't have a pedigree.
Yeah, it was here. I'll share my screen one more time. Present, share screen. Blah 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 blah. I'll do it. I'll do it in Coin Archives.
Hey, welcome in Welch Coast Services. I know, big hitter here.
So did you see my screen again?
Yeah, let me grab it. Yep.
Okay. So I'll show you the coin because I already sold it. Press on the lowest. Okay. So here's the coin. And so when I bought it, it didn't have a pedigree. And then I found this pedigree here back to 1956. And then from there, I found this pedigree back to 1906. And then when I pulled the catalog, it said on the catalog that it was duplicates of the Athens Museum.
Oh, wow.
So when I bought it, it had no pedigree. And then I got the 56 pedigree, then the 1906 pedigree, and then the Athens Museum pedigree.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
that's like that was a big hit for you then, kind of, really.
Yeah, I mean, I already had it priced at 14,000 before I knew the pedigree, but it just helped me sell it a lot faster.
Wow, that's very cool. You have one that's that same coin, but it was up for $3,000, and somebody else bought it, but that was almost me.
It was this one. Oh wait, let me go back here. It was let me just do Agricus.
Yeah, right there. Yep, that one. I thought the claws on that thing was that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. In fact, this coin came in with the other coin.
Oh wow!
I bought them together.
Oh wow!
So it had a little bit of porosity in here.
I seen that, but I was after the other side anyway. So, but yeah,
but it was pretty nice coin overall.
It was. I'm frustrated that I didn't get it now that it's somebody else.
Well, the guy hasn't paid for it yet, so if he doesn't pay for it, I'll let you know.
Okay, good.
Because he's a new client from Europe, and so if he doesn't pay me, then I can let you know.
Awesome.
So,
all right, man. So I can see time's flying here, so I'm gonna skip a few things here, and I'm gonna go. I wanted to show people, so I'm gonna scroll way down here to the end. You start here, and I want to go to 608. So I thought this was kind of funny if you're like me and you're just kind of looking through the time slots and watching things progress and then get worse as far as art. So there's a couple cool coins here. This one looks just like a wild man. I don't know. This guy, I thought this was a cool coin just because it looks like it's in action. So I'm not showing my screen, am I?
I don't see it on your screen.
Hold on.
There you go. Oh yeah, this is Vicingetorix.
I just thought this was kind of cool because it's like I don't know. It just looks like a scary, crazy guy.
So he was a Germanic leader, and his name was Vicingetorix. And it's a very popular coin to collect. They come in high grade. That one's not bad, but they do come better.
I kind of like it just because of the wild man looking thing. Right. And then over here we have a scary looking. I don't know what this is, but this looks like
it's Roman Republic, and it's one of the moneyers, and it's just a goddess.
She's dragging a stag by the horns there, like it's nothing. It's kind of
well, you're probably worshiping it, so.
So, but anyway, what I wanted to show is over here, lot 608.
Yep.
So I was scrolling along here and I seen this like, oh wow, that's nice, that's provocative, and it's a good looking coin. I kind of liked it, very provocative looking. But then it was funny because I was scrolling down, and so now let's go to 639. And yeah, and then it's like, okay, that's not bad. It's kind of the same thing going on there. Not too bad, not quite as good, but still nonetheless.
Yeah, if you go to that one, the Octavian that you were just on, I'm pretty sure that's ex Wayne Scheibel.
Go back here then. Oh wait, no, not
639.
639. This.
Yeah, click on that. It'll probably say X Wayne Scheibel collection. Yep. So Wayne was one of our clients. He actually was my printer for our catalogs for probably 20 years. And Wayne was collecting a series of Venuses showing their ass.
Okay.
So he was collecting anything with an ass.
Well, that's this next one, because it's funny. It's just like you watch the level of art. So yeah, let me go to the next one here.
But he was specifically looking for ass coins. That was his thing.
So yeah, here's another one, 714.
That's probably his too.
And let's see. Yep.
Yeah, CNG got Wayne's collection. Unfortunately, his daughter didn't like us, and so she didn't give us the collection. Wayne unfortunately passed away, and we didn't get the collection.
And then there's this one, and it's like, ouch, just a complete, what happened there?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny.
That's not a putt I'd want, but whatever.
Yeah, the first one I was kind of impressed with, but then we get down here.
Yeah, well, good die cutters and bad die cutters. What can you say?
No doubt. So another thing that I wanted to look at was, there's a lot of these. 114. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this what I would consider. Don't we consider this a Spartan helmet?
I suppose it's just a Greek helmet.
Well, see, you're saying Greek, and see, I would have always said that I would have tied that back to a Spartan Roman helmet. But there's a lot of these Greek coins that seem to have the Spartan helmet before the Spartan helmet. Or what's going on there?
Well, you could also say it's a Corinthian helmet as well. The Corinthians had helmets like that as well. It's just a Greek helmet with the feathered top. So, but those were Macedonian tribe coins, and they were specifically used for transferring wealth.
Okay.
Pretty large silver coin.
And then I was looking at this one. I thought this was a good example of, or I wanted to talk to you about the wear on the die of a coin. And when I was first talking to you, you said, well, that's just a wore out die. And so in my mind, I'm thinking through things, and I think I'm kind of starting to figure out it's not war in the way that you would think of some certain things wearing like I'm used to. It's with a die, they wear from pressure and heat. So it almost gets a melted look to it, kind of.
Well, they also just break apart from being struck. So they're made out of iron. And so as you strike a coin, it takes a little bit more wear. It's like a photocopy. As you continue to use it, it becomes less and less, has less and less strength in the die.
Yeah, and your letters start to widen a little bit and run a little bit, and I think that's kind of from, like you're saying, the wear would be just a normal word for it, but in dye.
Well, yeah, because the planchet is hot when they strike it, so yeah, I'm sure heat does play a part in that as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of. It took me a while to see because it's not wear from people rubbing on it. It's wear from when it was being struck itself by the die, just kind of expanding a little bit from the heat and wear of punching over and over, basically.
Right.
So yeah, okay. So that's just some kind of just seeing that, and I thought this was a good place to see it because it kind of just melts into the letters a little bit, or they widen, or. And so yeah, just kind of figuring out the ancient die wear. I'm not used to that in modern coins, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see die flaws on on a variety of coins, and you know that it came from the exact same die strike.
Right.
You'll sometimes see a flaw. Like I just saw somebody showed me a Diocletian Aureus today. And I was trying to find the pedigree, and I found the exact same flaw on one of the letters on the reverse. So it wasn't the same coin, but it was the same die strike.
Wow.
because that flaw continued as they were striking coins.
Cool. So this is a nice looking coin that she has hearts on her inner hairdo, and I wonder if
Well,
that's
it's a diadem, and those are actually ivy leaves and
oh,
rosettes.
okay. I
So
figured that.
it's a gold diadem that they wore. They put on the deceased, and gods wore them as well.
Okay, so that's an actual leaf, because I was surprised to see like looks like they formed hearts on there, and I was kind of surprised to see that.
It's a leaf.
Okay, okay.
They call it an ivy leaf. You know.
Okay, let me see here. 123. Oh, and so here is the Philip II coin, right? Or no, this is Alexander the First.
That's Alexander the First.
So that's Alexander the Great's the grandfather would be?
Yeah, it's a earlier descendant of Philip II.
But yet is this the coin that those first Celtic coins were kind of mimicking?
You mean, well, the Macedonian tribes coins, probably the decagram you showed earlier. Yes. No, I mean they're copying coins of Philip II and Alexander the Great.
Okay.
After that.
And then I noticed this would be my entry for last night's.
Yes.
I'll just leave it at that, I guess. But very cool. That's a nice piece too, isn't it? Kind of a nice one, or do they?
It's not bad. They come nicer, but that's pretty decent for the type.
9.7 grams. 500. It's an
archaic coin.
Yeah. And then I really like these Philip II gold coins, but they're always a not completely ridiculous price, so they must be pretty common, evidently.
Those estimates are wholesale, and you're never going to buy them at that level.
Okay, so you always kind of just double that. I heard you say almost.
At least, estimates are our starting point, and this is what I mentioned last night. If an auction house, if they put that out at $10,000 estimate, which is what it might bring, nobody would bid because they'd think, oh, it's too expensive. But if they put it out at 3,000, then people like, oh, that'd be awesome if I got it for that price.
Right.
People they're vested into the actual auction. They show up to start bidding, and the next thing you know, they're paying $8,000, $9,000 when they didn't think they would.
For sure.
And then the auction house then can advertise that they sold their coins at 2 or 3 times the estimate. So then it looks good from a advertising standpoint.
Sure. Okay, and then we've got some of these
Philip II.
Philip II's. I thought this was kind of a nice example, and I thought, what between these two here, what is
the 146 is a much better style. When they start, you get more of a flowing beard, better hair. It's a much better die. You start looking like a godlike figure, as opposed to something that's a little bit more crude and common.
Yeah.
Beard just isn't. That might come in high grade, but it's a really common variety. And so I would much rather have that other coin than this one.
Yeah, and so price difference, well, you're talking a couple grand difference there, I would think, at least, huh?
Correct.
And then what do we got? 160.
Oh, so open that Polyorcetes. Scroll up a little bit, stop. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit to 181. No, 181. You just passed it again.
151, maybe.
180. Oh, 151. My bad.
Okay.
Open that one. I just want to see really quick. Yeah. So some of these, sometimes on the ship, this is where the eye will be.
Oh.
Some of them have it. Some of them don't. This one doesn't have it. But they'll actually. That's the prow of a ship, and so sometimes they have an eye in there. Yeah. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Okay. Cool. Let's see what I had next here. Oh yeah, I thought this one was cool because of the level of detail in her hair. is quite cool. And then this shield here, it actually shows like the band of the shield going around his forearm there, and him grabbing the hand. I thought that was cool with the snake in there.
Yep. Here, what's that lot number? I actually going to be bidding on that coin. For a client. It's 169.
Yep.
69. 169.
Wild Rose Collection.
Oh, actually, you know what? I passed on it because I bought the one in NAC. So I am passing on that one. So, but I bought a better one in NAC.
Oh wow, because this one isn't bad itself.
Yeah, I bought even a nicer one in NAC.
Cool.
It is nice. Let me see if the one in NAC. Hold on.
Right, Homestead? That would just be crazy.
2181. Just comparing them really quick.
Oh, and then we got this Delphi next. I wanted to ask you about that too.
Yeah, so the one I bought in NAC, I paid 8,500 Swiss francs.
Okay.
So, so pretty nice coin.
So you could probably get this one a little under that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. And then I wanted to add this Delphi coin. I know from your ancient coin books that my favorite coin is the Delphi, that there's like only 10 known or whatever. But this is from the same place, but it's a tiny coin, right? And it's
very small, tetra oval. Yeah.
Trihemi oval.
Trihemi oval. Yeah, you're right.
1.1 grams. So that's small.
Yeah, it's only 11 millimeters in diameter.
But what condition is this? Is there a lot of these? What condition is this comparably to those, or?
Cedarland sold it, and so it only sold in 2022, not that long ago.
Yeah.
Here, let's see what it brought, just out of curiosity.
And you're in Coin Archive again doing this.
Yep. You can do it in AC search too, but I use this one.
When you're
20.
When you're putting in keywords for Coin Archive, what words are you putting in, like focus Delphi?
No, I can. So CNG actually has they have a listing where you can just go to the actual company that sold it.
Okay.
And then you can look up that specific auction and go right to that lot number, so you don't have to do a search.
Okay.
So all right, so that one brought $1,400 hammer in 2022.
So they're not very common, evidently, even in that bad condition. Or they're just that sought after.
Yeah, it's pretty rare in general. Let me just see here. It should be Delphi 25 PCD. Just do this.
Because I know this coin doesn't look like much, guys, but the is the other one a tetradrachm? The 10 example one that's beautiful from Delphi? Or a stater or something. It's quite a bit bigger, right?
Probably, yeah.
That one, the one in your book is absolutely amazingly gorgeous, but this one's kind of cool, but it's not in the best of shape here.
No, and they're not as common. Okay, so there was one that was sold in 2024 in April of this year. Not as nice, but not terrible. A little worn. It brought 1,000 euros. There was one that sold in Nomos, far better, but it brought almost $5,000. But a really nice coin. Here's another one for 20. Not nice quality. These are probably. Oh, there's another one. No, it's not a rare coin, but they don't come very nice, generally speaking. Here's another one that sold much nicer than this one. In 2010, brought 6,500 Swiss francs. Um, and then here's another one in 2010, brought 3,200 Swiss francs. So, you know, I would say 10 examples at least. This is probably mid-range for it. And I would expect it to go for, you know, between, probably going to go for around 15 to 1,800.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Wow.
Because the one that just sold was easily the finest known. And so that person's satisfied. This one's not that nice quality wise, metal wise. So it's going to probably sell under 2,000. That's my guess.
Yeah.
So
okay, very good and interesting. Let's see. I had 180. Oh yeah, these newer versions. So I was looking at this up close. There's some good art in these, but I liked it on the helmet. He's got little, what are these? Some type of little heads on his head.
Probably little serpents.
And then another little horse-like animal there. Some cool imagery. And so this is Athens after it got taken over by Rome. Is that right?
Yeah, this is they call them New Style Athens tetradrachms, and this is what Athens went to under the Romans.
Okay, and then while I'm on that subject, so I wanted to dig a little bit into imperial and provincial, and I know that the provincial coins are Greek providence coins that when the Romans took over, they were putting out coins with Greek lettering in the Greek provinces, and that's called provincial. Did I get that much right?
Yep.
Okay. And then the imperial, I guess my confusion comes in. The imperial, does that span from before provincial to even after, like
no, imperial just means that it was issued in Rome.
Oh, okay. Well, so
it was issued by the imperial, by the king himself, as opposed to the provinces, which would have been under governors that were issued. They were governed by the emperor, so they were done in the emperor's name, but they were controlled by the cities, the Greek cities. Okay. And so the dyes and all that was definitely, provincial coins typically don't have as nice of art. They are there's a lot of rarities and scarcity because of the amount of cities that were issuing them in different time periods. But it was all done under the Roman emperors, but not under the bequest of the Roman emperor himself.
So then the Roman coins that were before provincial aren't necessarily imperial, or then?
Well, the Roman coins before the Romans would be the Republican. Only issued in Italy.
Okay. So that I would refer to those.
So when the Roman Empire took over, they were, before that, they were issuing, it was basically Greek coinage. And so that would be considered BC material. And so that's going to be more under the cities themselves were issuing coins, or the kings that were running those kingdoms were running their own coinage. And when the Romans took them over, then they started issuing coins under those Roman emperors in the provinces.
Okay. I think that that kind of cleared it up. So, and you would just call it slipped my mind, but I'll go back. So yeah, just, okay. That clears it up enough for me. I can figure that out. Okay. Let's see here. You also mentioned last night that the Syracusan, and I was wondering, was it tetradrachms or decadrachms that weren't for circulation? You said it was more just for collecting.
Well, tetradrachms and decadrachms were always treasury coins, but the decadrachm of Syracuse specifically were used and collected. And so they actually stopped striking them, put the dies away. So that's why we know they weren't necessarily meant for mass production. And then 20 years later, they brought them back out and restruck the coins with rusty dies. And so, which was uncommon. So we know that the coins were collected and actually were showpieces, and they were saved and never melted down. That's why so many of them survive today.
And you're more talking about the decadram than the tetradram there, is that right?
I'm talking about the decadram of Syracuse.
Yeah, okay.
That were issued under Kimon and Euenetos in the 5th century BC.
Yeah, okay. And the tetradrams from that, because they did issue tetradrams during that time as well, right?
Of course, those were just treasury coins.
And those were more circulated a little bit more than probably the decadram.
Oh yeah, decadrams were not circulated.
And the tetradrams were a little bit, at least.
Right.
At least a little bit, somewhat. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Sure. Okay, cool.
All silver coins are treasury coins.
All silver coins were treasury coins. So, and you're saying that the bronze and whatnot can be more done by a city, and so they aren't necessarily considered.
Or they were done by Rome as well. They were imperial issues, but it's what people would use to buy a loaf of bread, or
Right.
trade things.
Whereas the treasury was more for bigger, larger stuff. Wasn't
bronze
as
coins. Basically, consider it like this: bronze coins were the smaller denomination that you could use in everyday life.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Oh, I wanted to go look at least one more coin, and then we're gonna wrap up here.
And Neil, you are correct in all of those comments.
Oh, Neil's always correct with his comments. All right, I'm gonna look at 287. Sorry, everybody. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted 238. Okay, my B.
Ephesus.
Yeah, I need this coin, Aaron, and I don't have it yet, and so I'm actively looking for this coin.
It's not a rare coin, but it's hard to get them fully centered in high grade.
In high grade, and I mean, I would be plumb happy with this one.
Yep.
So what are you? So we got an estimate of 2, so we can automatically double that to be competitive.
Yeah, these have been bringing between 4,000 and 6,000 in high grade. This one's kind of middle of the road. It's a little bit better than average. It's not fully centered on the obverse side, so I would think that this coin could be bought for $3,750 to $4,000, something like that.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my eye on that. And you might be bidding in this sale as well.
Oh, I am. Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think I'm on 238. Oh yeah, I am on 238.
Oh, somebody else wants this one as well.
Yeah.
Wow. So how does that work? So I would have to get on and bid against you in that case, which is not a good idea. But
that's up to you.
Right.
That's up to you.
Because I mean, in this case where I'm after it and you already have another client, your other client's probably better off than I am. So that's probably how you solve that issue, huh?
Sometimes I'll tell clients like, hey, if you're not willing to go to this level, then
someone else is. So why? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
well, let me know what this guy's after, and I'm sure
he's one of my bigger clients, and so he has me bidding on for him. I'm bidding on 41 lots.
Wow.
No, a little less. 40, 39, 37, 36, 36 lots.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Wow. That must be fun. Cool, Aaron. Well, this has been great. I'm gonna let you go because I have a bunch more examples, but you got your time and I know you're busy, so
my pleasure. I'm glad I was able to do it. Thanks. Good job, Neil. and the rest of you guys. And until next time.
Yeah, all right. Hopefully we can get you back up here, and we'll go through some more. I greatly appreciate it and learn a lot. So
My pleasure. Anytime.
thanks again, and we'll
Okay,
catch
take
you
care.
guys on the next one.
All right. Bye-bye.